Hi folks, welcome to today's Coffee and John. We are on looking at the witnesses to Jesus Christ, and we're in 1 John chapter 5. We've seen that yesterday it talked about that he did not come by water only, but by water and blood, and then we get this. So we're going to look, this is verse 6. Second part of verse 6. And it is the Spirit who testifies, because the Spirit is the truth. For there are three that testify, the Spirit, the water, and the blood, and the three are in agreement. Now, the Vulgate version adds, and there are three that testify in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Spirit, and these three are one, and the three that testify on earth. The trouble with that is not in any Greek manuscript before the 14th century, and the one in the 14th century is a translation of Greek from the Vulgate. So we have no evidence that was part of the original, and I think it is right for the NIV and others to just leave that out. Because the point of it here is not, and it's not an argument for the Trinity. The three that testify is what we saw yesterday. Well, it's the water and the blood. Now, I argued yesterday that it doesn't refer to baptism, but I think it refers to baptism and communion. But I think it refers to the life of Christ, his water, his baptism, and his death. And I think that when it's now goes on and it is the Spirit who testifies. Remember, Jesus had said to John and to the other apostles that the Spirit would come, he would send another counselor, and that the Spirit would remind him of everything that he had taught them. So what John is saying is they were witnesses. And remember, he said this at the beginning. We were witnesses. We saw this. John saw the baptism. John saw the cross and the resurrection and all the teaching and miracles in between. He saw these things, and the Spirit reminded them, and the Spirit is the truth. So there are these three testimonies, the Spirit and the historical record, and the three are in agreement. And I would argue that that's how we receive the truth today, that there's the historical record, which is true, and then there's the Spirit of God applying that to our lives, often through the preaching of the Word. It's that is powerful, but also the record that we have in the Scriptures, as the Scriptures speak to us, and of course the preaching should be just the preaching of the Scriptures. So I think that this is tremendously encouraging and important, that people say, how do you know what Christianity is true? Well, we know because Jesus lived. We know that because Jesus was born. We know that Jesus was baptized. We know that Jesus taught. He did miracles. He died. He rose. I've just been watching a clip, and I've put it in the Quantum podcast, of a supposedly Christian minister stating to her congregation that she doesn't know if Jesus rose from the dead. Well, what's the point of her preaching then? We know that Jesus rose from the dead. And the Spirit confirms that with us. The Spirit, the water, and the blood, and the three are in agreement. So I reckon if you're not in agreement with the Spirit and the water and the blood, you're not a Christian, and you need to get to grips with that. For me, it's enough. It's more than enough. How do I know? I know because I know who Jesus is, and because I trust him, and because I love him, and because I've committed my life to him. And I know it because of this book, but also because the Spirit inspired the book, and the Spirit continues to inspire the application of the book. May that be true for every one of us. See you tomorrow. Bye.